Oh, ho, ho, Don Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of Don Mafia Live. Don Mafia Live, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, I got a lot of positive feedback off of what the media was saying about the Buffalo Bills. Full transparency, I got this idea. One of my buddies, Eric, he runs a table called Get the Tables. He typically puts together like a giant compilation of like every single media head on the face of the planet that discusses the Buffalo Bills. So I wanted to give a little spin on it and sort of make it, super interactive, have conversations about it, whether or not I'm scratching my head at their takes or whether or not that I am wholeheartedly agreeing with them. I just want to go on ahead and I just want to welcome everybody. I want to welcome everybody here, guys. It's been, I would say, for the most part, a pretty down week, especially when it comes down into the news, besides the casual, will Josh Allen lead the Bills to a Super Bowl? Or what is this looking like in the draft? Top 10 guard prospects or quarterback prospects. But regardless, I still wanted to go on ahead and really start diving into a lot of these things of what basically the national media is saying. Just want to go ahead and start saying hello to some of the people that are in here. George, yo ho ho. George, what's going on, man? Sincerely hope everything is going well. Justin Friedag, what up, people? Y'all hyped for the draft? I certainly am, my friend. I certainly am. In fact, I'm thinking maybe not tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm probably just going to do a standard Q&A, not so much screen sharing certain takes from the national media, but I'm planning on doing a mock draft live sometime next week, and then hopefully everyone will be able to join, but I think it should be a really good time. Jukesy, what's going on, dude? Shout out Mafia. George comes in and says, as long as we have a cornerback or two. Yeah, we most desperately need a damn cornerback. In case you haven't seen my most recent video, I did just drop something at 3 p.m. today. It's the Buffalo Bills have a massive cornerback problem. So once we're done with this live stream, you want to go check that out. I sincerely recommend you do so. John, what up, Dan? Hashtag Bills Mafia. Not a lot, man. Just hanging in there. Long day at work. I'm sitting here. I'm dog sitting. Well, I mean, it's my own dog, but, it's a puppy. It just never ends. Robert Perry. So a cornerback is a must and a wideout. Let's go rough. Absolutely. F the national media. Mongoose. Right there with you, baby. Right there with you. But it's nice that they're finally sucking us off. Like, this is the first time. Like, this is almost weird to me. But, I mean, I'm definitely okay with it. Jacob, what's going on, man? Eric. Hello from Longview, Texas. What's going on, brother? And so this is a new name in the chat. Whoop, whoop. Charlie Brown in the house. Charlie Brown. I love it, man. I love it. And so have you been working on your kicking, dude? So the kicking field goals and stuff. Zachary King came on and said, I saw this debate on Josh from ESPN on whether or not that he's a top 10 QB and Kayshawn is so biased. That's funny because that's actually one of the videos that I have lined up that we're going to react to here in a bit. Tua and Hill is like a gun with no ammo. Slinksy, absolutely. I mean, I feel like everybody on the face of the planet really agrees, but we'll see. We'll see what's going on. So yeah, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on ahead and I want to start going through some things and some videos of what has happened throughout the past couple of weeks. I'm trying to find anything that like looks interesting. I thought I saw one from Stephen A. Josh Allen, a top 5 QB. This must be exactly what we were just talking about. So let's knock it out. This is probably about to be absolutely wild, but let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for
these ads, man. These ads. Like now I feel for it.
I love Justin Herbert. I really, really do. I put him ahead of Justin Herbert right now.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I?
Wait. The video may have started late, but I really hope that he didn't put. Really hope that he. Okay.
All right.
Let's
so
keep going.
That's one out the box. Joe Burrow balled out, but that didn't take away from what Josh Allen
Oh,
did.
never mind. He was talking
when
about.
you look at Joe Burrow,
he was talking about
Cincinnati's defense
Josh
played
is
better in the
Yeah.
AFC Championship game. But when you look at what Buffalo did, first of all, I think the Buffalo Bills. I think Leslie French. I don't know if he'll ever get another head coaching job again. When you can't stop a team from getting a field goal range in 13 seconds. I mean, damn, 13 seconds. I think that will be held against if Eric Bieniemy can't get a head coaching job. Leslie Frazier's days as a
Yeah, that's rough. Right before we start getting into the analysis about Josh Allen, I 1000% agree with Stephen A. right here. The only reason that we're going to have any type of consistency within this defense is because Leslie called the game so terribly within that last 13 seconds. He completely shot himself in the foot for really getting any type of realistic type of consideration as a head coach, but
the head coach. No, he ain't the head coach of Buffalo, but he was a coordinator that was about to get the head coaching job until he gave up that damn field goal. Let him get in field goal range in 13 seconds when the Dallas Cowboys couldn't even get a snap off in 14 seconds. I think that's just atrocious. Now, the bottom line is this.
How he figured out how to swing Dallas.
I can't stand you.
Whatever. The point is, it's necessary
Always.
for both of y'all, all right? You heard me. But the bottom line is this. When you think about Allen, okay, you look at Tom Brady. We're not going to sit up there and put him against Tom Brady out of respect because Tom Brady's the GOAT. We know what kind of season he had. Aaron Rodgers is that dude. You know he's a bad brother. We get that. Patrick Mahomes is that. Outside of that, how am I just going to put Deshaun Watson in there? You ain't even play a whole year last year. How can I just do that?
That's
because
the last time I
And so I'm not necessarily sure how you can put Watson in there as of yet because he did take an entire year. Like, I mean, as far as raw talent, absolutely. He's certainly in the top 5, but I don't know. I kind of want to see where they're coming from with this.
laid eyes on him, he was ridiculous.
Time. The last time you laid eyes on him, but the last time you laid eyes on football, he wasn't anywhere
Josh
around.
Allen, you just
the fact
saw
of the
it.
matter is, I got to look at that. Wait a minute.
did-
I'm not questioning the greatness of Deshaun Watson. That brother's a stud. And you listen, he got his money. We know what Cleveland's doing. We know why, because that brother, he's something special.
And so, by the way, did y'all see that interview with Baker Mayfield? Dude, man, is so upset. He sat down for some podcast. I believe he sat down with like this rapper named Mike Stud or something like that. And I mean, he's super bitter, but I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, football related exclusively. I'm not talking about any of the allegations out like right outside of the field. I thought it was a good move, but here we go.
But to sit up there and to look at Josh Allen and the last 2 seasons that he has had and how he's knocking on the door and how great he has been, to put a guy ahead of him that we ain't seen in 18 months. I mean, come on, Key.
Bro.
I think that's a bit extreme.
That's
a bit extreme.
So for me,
So this is probably one of the first times that I think that I'll ever like outright. Well, one of the few times where I would say like, okay, I get where Stephen A is coming from, where there's no way in hell that you can put Watson above Allen when we haven't seen this man play in 18 months. 110%. 110%.
when I look at Josh Allen and we're talking about moving forward, I'm not even basing mine on last year. I'm talking about moving forward. You know who's calling the plays for the Buffalo Bills now? Ken Dorsey. Brian Dable actors with
Yeah.
New York Molly.
Oh, dude, I hate that take. I fucking despise that take, right? They legitimately, okay, you legitimately think that Brian Dable was the reason that our offense was so electric? The reason that our offense was so electric was Josh Allen's ability to improvise. How many times, in fact, how many of the great plays we saw in the past couple of years was based off of a Josh Allen improvisation? Okay? I hate that. In my opinion, I think that we're not going to see much different from the offense this year, but that could just be the fact that I'm a biased Bills fan. But here we go.
Giants. That is going to be a big factor on that young quarterback. Ken Dorsey ain't Brian
Key,
Dable.
yes, it is. But did you not watch this man? Did you not watch this man all year last year, bro?
Absolutely,
Like
I
right
did.
now, we having
Right next to
having
you.
a conversation about the top 5 quarterbacks right now. How don't you have Josh Allen in there based on the field?
Well, 6. I got him at 6. I got him at 6.
Come
But
on.
hold on.
This man just straight up disrespecting. Like, honestly, I would even put an argument out there that if Josh Allen is not in the top 3 for everybody that even attempts to put a career into football, he's just looking for clicks, man. He's just looking for clicks. Like, I mean, I'm 100% convinced. 100% convinced.
Let me ask you a question. Did you have Justin Herbert in your top 5?
He's at 5.
All right,
He's
let me
5.
ask you this question. As much as I love Justin,
This is... I really don't even know what to say. And it's only 3 minutes in, and I'm already absolutely livid.
Herbert, because I do. And that's to me, that's why Brian Flores ain't
He's
in Miami.
phenomenal.
If they pick Justin Herbert in Miami instead of Tua Tagovailoa, Brian Flores would still be there, and the Miami Dolphins might be winning the AFC East instead of Buffalo. But having said all of that, I ask you a simple question, Keyshawn Johnson. Has Justin Herbert been in the playoff yet?
No.
All right, so has Josh Allen been? Twice?
Yes.
You
Yes.
see what he's done in the playoffs?
And so he's actually been in the playoffs 3 times, but who's counting?
Right?
Yes.
How you gonna put a second-year player ahead of him
Because
and he
I
ain't even
watched-
been in the postseason?
Because, Stephen A., I watched him not only in college, also I watched probably 8 games in college, and I probably watched up close in person here in L.A. probably about 6 of them, and I like what I see.
So we
I just
going
like
by
what I see.
We going by what we saw in college 3 years
no,
ago.
No.
Come
I'm
on.
telling you, I have a favorite because I had an opportunity to see his college work and his NFL work up close in
Right.
person.
So what about
I'm in love with
Josh
that.
Allen
Playing
you
in
don't
LA
like?
and playing
What
in
about
LA
Josh
got to
Allen
do
you
it.
don't like?
It's not that I don't like him. I just prefer Justin Herbert sitting at 5. That's all.
I mean,
Now, listen, I'm not going to take anything away from Justin Herbert. I think that he's probably one of the more talented quarterbacks in the league right now, especially a young quarterback. I feel like that he's only going to improve as the years go by. But come on, dude. This is absolutely baseless. This is the most baseless argument I think I've ever seen from anybody that speaks about sports professionally and leisurely. This is just...
the fact that he played in LA, that ain't got nothing to do with this. Because you know how you
No, I'm not a
Yeah,
Charger
it got
fan.
everything to
You know,
do with it.
I know
No,
that,
I'm
but
not
then
a Charger
anything-
fan.
You are not a Charger
But you
fan, but
saw
you
him in
are a fan of
college.
all things LA. Anything that's LA sprinkles on, I mean, gets a biased treatment with
No,
you.
that's
Hey,
not true.
hold up. You two.
So you don't
go
think
on, Keyshawn.
Swag.
That's
You
exactly
two.
what I was
Swag.
thinking, Marcus.
Swag,
Him
so you
too.
don't. So moving things forward.
And so Zach just put that completely, like, hit the nail on the head. This is very, very difficult to watch.
You don't think
Right.
losing Brian Dable as his offensive coordinator is going to affect the Buffalo Bills offense?
Zero. Losing Dable, hear me out. Listen, let me go ahead and actually just put this on my face real large right now. It is going to affect the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen 0. Perhaps even negatives. In fact, I may even think that we may even see improvements with Dorsey calling plays. Okay, let's move on.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying when it happens, call me. But at this particular moment, don't sit up there and say he did now.
Well, we shouldn't even be
Call me
having
when
this
it happens.
conversation. We shouldn't
Marcus,
even be
let's
having
go
this
ahead.
conversation till the season start then.
But why not?
why-
Because we're going on
and
what we
why
just
would-
saw. on last season.
Why would you think Ken Dorsey would come in and change everything?
But
and
it
this
ain't,
man
it's not,
just went
hey,
to the AFC.
hey, Swagoo, it's not about changing everything. It's about calling things at the right time. You know, if your defensive coordinator is calling something, they might have the same scheme, but if he's dialing up a blitz on third and 29, that might be the wrong call. Opposed
But
to
Key,
somebody else that would do it.
I just watched the Kansas City.
Yo, honestly, I really can't even. I really can't even watch the rest of this. This is absolutely probably one of the most ridiculous things I think I've seen in quite a bit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, right before we go to the next video, I did want to go on ahead and just do not necessarily an ad, but this is just something. Well, it's a personal ad, so go on ahead, check it out. So you want to support the channel, do you? Well, hands down, the easiest way is simply just by smashing the out of that like button. But say any of you ever want to go the extra mile, Patreon is hands down the way to do it. Now, Patreon is a platform that allows the audience to support the actual creator and in turn, take those funds and improve their overall content for your enjoyment. Just to give you a little tour down on the Dom Mafia Patreon page, I am offering 5 tier options. Number 1, we have the Nathan Peterman tier. And for $3, you are not only going to get a shout out on my next YouTube video, I am also going to follow you on Twitter and you will have access to my Patreon only video for your eyes only. Say you're a true baller and want to go up to the 2nd tier, you have now entered into the Dildo on the Field tier. As we all know that iconic moment, and it would have felt like a sin if I didn't include this in my tier titles. For $5, not only do you get all of the benefits in the Nathan Peterman tier, but you also get access to all of my videos ad-free. So many of you are always just like, oh my God, dude, the ads are super damn annoying. Well, now you have an opportunity to watch them exclusively ad-free. Last but not least, you will be invited to the monthly Don Mafia Zoom call where we can all just sit down, shoot the shit, talk football, talk Bills. It's always a great time. So moving on up the ladder, we have the Table Breaker tier. And for $10, not only do you get everything in the 2 previous tiers, but I will also be a guest on your YouTube channel or your podcast. And so you'll also be invited to one of my 2 Don Mafia fantasy football leagues next year. So say, for example, that you just want to get absolutely smoked in fantasy football, then you're going to want to talk to your boy. So what's good about this is that I actually have a bunch of content plans surrounding this. So you'll also be invited onto the channel for anything related to those fantasy football leagues. Next up, we have the Pinto Ron tier. For $20, you get everything that is in the previous tiers. Plus, you will be invited to my weekly Q&A live stream where you can come on and I want to hear your takes on some of the questions that we are getting from the live chat. Super exciting. Just do me a favor and be an adult. Don't get me canceled. And the final tier, the Stash Allen tier. For $50, first off, if you give me this much money, I'm sincerely questioning your financial responsibility. Just in case you do, not only do you get all of the previous benefits of the previous tiers, you are also going to get access to be a regular guest on my game day live stream reactions during halftime. You can give me your drunken takes on what Josh Allen just did to that poor defense. We can just shoot the shit and have a good time. And so last but not least, you will be able to have a one-on-one Zoom call where you and I can just chill, we can talk football and do it up. So Dom Mafia, by no means is this a requirement. Like I said, from the bottom of my heart, you guys have been rolling with me ever since I ended up dropping my very first Buffalo Bills video. I just wanted to put that out there for anybody that has ever asked me in the past. Thank you so much, and back to you, Dan. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Dan. All right, so this one I saw is Max Kellerman, and our boy Keyshawn is also here. So let's see what's going on here. This one is called How Much Pressure is on the Buffalo Bills to go to the Super Bowl? Let's see.
USAA is made for the safe pilots, like Matt, who can come to a stop with barely a bobble. With USAA,
so I would say quite a bit.
You drive safe, you can save up to 30% on
Quite
your
a bit.
insurance. USAA, what you're made of, we're made for. Get a quote today.
They already had a great defense. Now this defense is, I don't know, what's the next word outside of great? Whatever it is, find one in your Columbia dictionary. But it's one of those
all-time
deals.
great.
All-time great. There you go. But he brings something totally different to the equation for them. Then Stephon Diggs, we already know what Stephon is. One of the top, depending on who you're arguing with, one of the top 5 receivers in the league. They could shore up their running game and not make everything dependable on Josh Allen to run the ball. So we got all that going. But when you remove the offensive coordinator from the equation, it hurts. It hurts. And I understand people think that because
Dude, this guy is married to this take. This guy is married to this take. Like, I mean, has he seen like any of the days where Dable just calls like 3 straight running plays up the gut and we have to punt away? Listen, I respect Dable. I'm happy that he was somewhat a part of Josh Allen's growth, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I would be surprised if that man still has a job in New York in 3 years. In 3 years.
Because Ken Dorsey's been in the building. You know how it is. You can do a whole lot of things till you try it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's like, oh man,
In theory,
in theory, you can do a lot of things till you try it. And so being under that microscope and that pressure, as you know, Jay, we talk about it all the time. With Coach K and now all of a sudden John Shire, it's different.
Huge adjustment.
And so that's going to be a huge adjustment for Ken Dorsey as an offensive coordinator. Thinking, calling plays at the right time. Because you say to yourself, Brian Dable will do this. And what happens is it affects the head coach because the head coach now has to manage this new coordinator when he didn't have to with the other guy because he didn't have to think twice on whether or not to go for it.
See, it's interesting because when you think about
Not a huge fan of this take, right? I mean, I probably should have learned that I wasn't going to agree with this guy on the most previous video. But like I said, Dable was look good based off of the fact that Josh Allen was just incredible at improvising. Absolutely incredible at improvising. So we'll see how that plays out.
Bills, with the way they had that shootout against the Kansas City Chiefs and the progression that you've seen this team go on, it feels like the next step is get to an AFC championship game, win a Super Bowl. Out of all the teams in the AFC, they seem like they have the most pressure on them, don't they?
They've gotten to the AFC Championship game. This team has to get to the Super Bowl.
So Zachary King, exactly.
Get to the Super Bowl. There's gonna be a lot of talk.
Seems like
about
everyone
Josh
forgets
Allen
that he was the
Super Bowl
quarterback
without-
coach for him.
without-
Everybody.
Outside of maybe the Packers, there is no team that has more pressure
What if?
to get to the Super Bowl than the Bills.
I
in my
agree,
opinion.
I agree with that basic premise, but what if? Let me give you a couple scenarios, and it could easily happen. They face either the Bengals or the Chiefs in the divisional round, and they win.
Yo, I'm going to get a lot of hate on this. The Bengals making the Super Bowl was a fluke. Absolute fluke. Don't roast me, but it was.
They get past the AFC defending champions or past the Chiefs into the AFC. Forget the Bengals. They get past the Chiefs to get into the AFC title game and then get knocked off by the Chargers.
Same
let's say.
thing, though.
To me, that's a step forward.
No, same thing.
That's the same thing.
Because
If you beat you beat the
beat
demon.
your rival
Because
that beat you.
you just, like Evan said, you just were in the AFC Championship game. Your next step
No.
is
I've
the
seen
Super
it.
Bowl.
And you just paid all these guys.
You just were there. You cannot go here. You
Out-
got to go there, Max.
Outside of the quarterback, which the Rams went and got Stafford. Outside of the quarterback, the Bills are as all in as the Rams were last year. They went and paid for Von Miller. They
Same
paid
thing.
to keep Stephon Gilmore.
But wait, Evan,
They are the same team. There is just as much pressure on the Bills this year as there were on the Rams last year.
but factoring in what Key said.
And so I will agree there. That I think that if there's any team in the NFL that has the most pressure to win it all, like it's expected, it's Buffalo. It's Buffalo right now.
About Brian Dable, like how do you factor? Like what's the
I don't care.
adjustment
The
period?
Rams
So you
had
don't
the
you don't
best
care that
defense-
the
the Rams
had the
point
best
is built that
defense in
strategy or
football.
scheme.
Pressure is based on perception. So the point is here, one of the things that maybe increases the pressure on the Bills is not only do they now have to take a step forward, which means getting.
Steve, man, that's man, that's really putting your confidence in the Bills, baby. 10 large if they lose. Well, hey, man, listen, for your sake, for your financial sake, I definitely hope that they win. And then for my mental health, I certainly hope that we win as well. Let's go.
Into the Super Bowl, but they're doing so under lesser conditions because they lost Dable, right?
Rams-
so
the
the
Rams-
the
the pressure
perception
goes
is
up,
higher, and the reality is
a
lower.
little lower.
I think a lot of this, though, is the Von Miller signing. Like Von Miller, because
Von is part of it.
he like when you think about it, Super Bowl MVP, and he was a huge part of their pass rush on the way to the Super Bowl with the next team.
Yeah.
If like it's almost like you're signing a pumped up Robert Ory or some dude who, like, when you see him, well, because I would say Von
No,
Miller has
this
been a
is-
better pass
Yeah,
rusher
yeah,
than
yeah.
Ory
This
was
is
a
what-
forward. But like this is a championship
But this
player.
is what Evan was just saying.
hold on, the Rams had the best defense in football. Sorry,
Yeah.
Key. The Rams had the best defense in football 2 years ago, and they
They
lost
added.
their defensive coordinator, and the pressure on them to win the Super Bowl did not change.
It didn't
Defensive
change.
coordinator.
But
It doesn't
when
matter.
You lose
Huh?
your DC. When you lose your DC, it's different than losing your offensive coordinator.
So
That's what I'm saying. So it
Teams
does matter
lose
for Buffalo.
defensive coordinators all the time, and the defense still.
Why?
The Baltimore, because the defense is just different. It's 3 coverages, a couple pass rush schemes, and that's pretty much
But how about
it.
So
in-game
doesn't-
adjustments, though?
So doesn't losing Brian Dable put more pressure on Josh Allen?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
That
So I feel like that it comes from like public pressure, like not like actual physical. Like, I mean, I sincerely believe that Josh is. We are not going to see a regression in his performance at all, but like from the public eye, absolutely. But I really don't think Josh is the kind of one that crumbles in those types of situations.
if the Buffalo Bills don't get to the Super Bowl, this season for them is a complete failure.
I think it puts less
Period.
pressure on him.
That is the first thing that he has said that I have agreed with all day. That is the first thing that he has said that I have agreed with all day. I 100% understand with that. It's if the Bills do not make it to the Super Bowl this year, hell. If they don't win the Super Bowl this year, it's a failure in my eyes. It really is. It really, really is.
I think it because you how do you not factor?
Jay,
I know,
maybe
but
we'll-
how do you not factor in, Key, when you have a new coach, the time it takes to get acclimated to the calls?
It's
Like
what-
why is what that's like
it-
as athletes, that's a real
you
thing.
do factor that into it. But the fact of the matter is, you went out and you got Matthew Stafford and Von Miller. You paid Stephon Gilmore and Jalen Ramsey. Okay. You just paid Cooper Kupp in Stephon Diggs. And you also got Matthew Stafford and Josh Allen that you paid. So you look at all of those key pieces and components that the Buffalo Bills have that the Rams had. The Rams had all the pressure in
But
the
I
world with the
disagree.
top defense.
But I'm with Jay here. I disagree. That I agree. The Bills are facing the most pressure in the AFC to
Yes.
make the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's quite what the Rams were facing last year because the head coach and his whole system, he identified a quarterback of another team
Yes.
and shipped out a #1 overall
No,
draft
yeah,
pick
yeah,
and
of
2
course.
firsts and everything.
Yeah.
So like, and it was also an older guy who had a lot to prove because of Detroit. And they never, so like, to me, there was more pressure on the Rams last year than there is on the Bills this year.
No. No, I can't say. And so I can't say because last year it was a wild card for the Rams because, like you just said, they got a brand new quarterback. So if they didn't win a Super Bowl, you get it, right? Like, I mean, you have a brand new quarterback that needs to learn the system. Is the chemistry going to be there? I feel like the Bills realistically have had the exact same team for a very long time. I mean, so obviously minus some splash additions, but as far as the core is concerned, I mean, we've been pretty consistent. And like, I mean, for the past 2 years, man, we should have just, I don't know.
Coach Sean McDermott is still there.
Yeah.
In Buffalo. He didn't leave, right? They were in the AFC Championship game. The Rams were not in the AFC Championship game prior to
I don't know if you've
acquiring-
considered this though.
Yeah,
Daboll's
NFC.
not there anymore. And Key, let me explain something to you.
No,
The
let me
offensive
And so if I hear Dable's name one more time, I'm just going to absolutely freak out. Let's see what else we got. I saw something else that looked pretty interesting. Let's see. So I have some other Bills YouTubers up here if y'all haven't had a chance to check it out yet. Oh, this is hands down my favorite show for football. This is Good Morning Football. Let's go ahead and check this out. This is my go-to.
Tennessee and Kansas City. So for
especially one, it's been 30 years for Buffalo, and two, many years it's you light an off-season fire. Let's give them at the end of the year. This is nothing. This is paper. This is fun. This is kindling. You light an off-season fire. You put your little great. The Bills are amazing. They won the Super Bowl. We're gonna break sure. Off-season. Sure. Off-season champs. You hand one out every single year. Many years it's Jacksonville or it's Carolina that doesn't build to anything. I'm trying to temper the excitement, and it is very exciting, especially one, it's been 30 years for Buffalo, and two, I think we're still just a little bit intoxicated off the Bills Chiefs. I mean, we're talking to that game that was maybe the greatest football game ever played.
So the greatest football game ever played, but also one that I still chat about in therapy to this day.
And there's this sense of like the best player in that game was number 17 for the Bills, and now you've got his receiver under contract. You added Von Miller. It's all there, except for the fact that they can't beat the Chiefs. Not when it matters, not in the playoffs. And I know they're going to be sick and tired of hearing that, so do something about it. You can't do anything in April. But, you know, Dante, you're a Chiefs guy. You're Chiefs royalty. If you're a Chiefs fan sitting around for the next 6 months saying the Bills, like you're going to throw up. Because, okay, they added Von Miller. Who hasn't? You know what I mean? Like, they got a great quarterback.
Who hasn't added Von Miller? Okay.
They got receiver. Who doesn't? It's the AFC. So, look, I could sit here and do a parade every day for the Bills and say, it's been a long time. And they have to beat Kansas City. And until they don't, paper.
I thought you did throw a parade for them last year. I'm just so confused.
I threw one when they destroyed New England in that first playoff game, and it looked like they were just going to surge through the playoffs. And then what happens is, see, we decide these things in this league on the field of play, and the Chiefs had more points than them at the end of the game. So sorry,
you gotta be authentic too. In the moment, Kyle we're like looking at it now. He can have his opinion now. Doesn't he just get threw in on?
If you just say year round, like I'm a cheerleader for the Bills, that's obnoxious, and that's not what I am. You know what I'm saying? Now,
Kyle, bro. Your hype videos, man, they all mean nothing now. They all mean nothing.
These are authentic takes at this
I
point.
tried to be. Yeah. Come on, it gets old. Dante, what do you think?
I'm going to keep it very simple.
Okay.
I'm going to go L'Jarius Sneed. My answer is no.
Good word.
That's a callback to yesterday.
Context to
Dante,
that.
explain what you mean.
No, being serious. I don't think they are because I'm like you. You have to do it on the field. Last I checked, the AFC champion, the top of the tier in the AFC is the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bills have yet to beat the Chiefs. Let's just say they do this year. Well, you still got to go beat
Cincinnati.
Bengals.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe the Raiders or maybe the Chargers. So, yes, the Bills on paper look phenomenal. They've made some great additions. They signed their top receiver. But like you just said, it's all on paper. Go do it. Until then, they are not the top team.
Are they the class of the AFC? If we were to do a draft of all the AFC teams right now, am I taking them first overall? Yeah, I am.
Good, Peter. Good. You should. You absolutely should. And so the Chiefs ain't the same. And first off, no one's worried about the Bengals, man.
I'm taking the Bills first overall. I think they've got it all going on. But to your point, it means squat. It means nothing until they actually get the job done. They played in an AFC championship game 2 years ago and got the doors blown off them by the Chiefs. They played in an AFC divisional round last year that if the rules were maybe what they are now in the overtime, they'd potentially do win that game. But they had 13 seconds to stop Patrick Mahomes. They had to make a stop, and they didn't.
13 seconds, man. Shit just kills me.
I can't say that they are the best team in the AFC, but I could tell you right now, going into it, I think they are my favorites going into the AFC this season.
I mean, we talked about the Bengals this week when we were talking about this division. I'm with you, Dante. I have no reason to believe that they're not poised to make another run at this. And particularly when I look at guys like Joe Burrow in his third year coming off the injury that first year, and then you got Jamar Chase his second year as wide receiver. We typically see wide receivers like Jamar Chase just go up and up and up. And they really needed to upgrade the offensive line, and they've addressed that. And they'll probably continue to address that in the draft. So when I look at the Bills and this team, I just think it's going to be really, really fun to watch these teams for the next couple of years.
Yep. We're lucky. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I just realized that I was muted. No, like, I mean, I feel like that, like, there's just like been like a lot of takes and stuff about Dable. We need to be worried about the Bengals, etc. Like that Chiefs take also killed me as well. I think with Tyreek being gone, I have a feeling that this team's gonna slide pretty damn bad. Okay, but who really knows what is going on with that? Don Mafia, I just wanted to hop in here for about, a quick little 35-minute episode. That's typically what I'm going to do, I think, for each and every single what the national media is saying. Just keeping it short and keeping it simple. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be live at 6. It's going to be a Buffalo Bills Q&A. Love for you guys to join. I'll be here. And then for those of you that are on Patreon, certain levels, some of you will be able to be joined on this specific stream. Say that you are interested. Say that you are intrigued in Patreon. It is the pinned comment. Feel free to take a look. If not, the only thing I ask you to do is just smash that like button, baby. Join the Bills Mafia. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And before I let you go, wait, hold on. It's Bills Maniac 210's birthday. Happy birthday, bro. Happy birthday, man. Hope you have a great night. Before I let you go, you better always remember, let's go Buffalo.